council stood assembled within the great tent, arrayed in a half-moon before the Red King. A heavy silence hung in the air. None dared be the first to speak. The king slowly lifted his head, letting his gaze drift across each of their faces. He, too, did not know how to begin. Many young soldiers had fallen. It was Lord Bolek who broke the silence. After a soft cough, he spoke in a tender voice, expressing the sorrow they all felt over Valmor's death. One by one, the lords began to voice their tributes. Sir Wilson said, "Had it not been for Valmor, we might never have won this war." Each of the lords spoke words of grief and admiration for the fallen hero. The Red King gave a faint, sorrowful smile and declared, "Yes, he was mad, but brave. By slaying the traitor Lamech, he turned the tide in our favor. These lands shall never forget his name." Then the council raised their voices in unison. "The Lord's name shall endure." And the king followed with a thunderous reply. "The Lord's name shall endure, Lord Leonard Valmor." Once more, silence crept through the tent. There was an unspoken question on all their minds. What would become of the prisoners? Their numbers were great. With a voice deep and resolute, the king proclaimed, "I order that all prisoners be released, and this is my final word on the matter." A cold stillness swept through the tent. The council, stunned, froze in place. Then murmurs began to stir. Stepping forward with evident concern, the royal advisor Sir Janus warned that such a decision was dangerous and might incite yet another rebellion. The king turned and addressed them. "My lords, my wise counselors, the brave souls who lie buried in this valley, most of them are sons of the East, children of the sun. We have lost countless lives. If we were to butcher just as many again, what legacy would we leave behind? How would the Nine in these sacred lands remember us? I will not turn this realm into a widow's graveyard." Then, with a fire in his eyes, he continued, "We all know the serpent's true head, the old devil in the north, Ice Eye. He has poisoned our people and the realms beyond. Only by choosing mercy can we begin to purge this venom." Though some among the lords silently supported him, the majority remained doubtful. Then stepped forward Lord Bane Lathrin of the High Valley, his bearded braids falling across his chest, a great war mace resting upon his shoulder. "How," he asked, "can we be sure these prisoners will not rise up again?" The king replied, "Their rebellion was born of their loyalty to a treacherous lord and the endless plunder he demanded. But the young serpent's head, Walmor, has now been severed. All that remains is to strengthen our forces in these regions and put an end to the raids. We will provide food to their families, and perhaps the children of these lands will finally choose the light." Though the murmurs faded, the tension remained. Their faces bore the weight of doubt, and Lord Dakin Callan, watching quietly, was certain of one thing. The king harbored other plans yet unspoken, and he longed to know what they were. And lo, as the northern lights kindled their glow above the city of Orhammer, at the bidding of Ice Eye, the ancient demon was sated, and as one of high esteem was he received, until at last he was led into the shadowed hall of the throne. Then the ancient and shadowed creature spake, with a voice like a growl rising from the depths of its throat. "The Master hath heard you. The Master knoweth of this mortal, who looseth his chains in the dungeons of the deep. He knoweth his desires also. Wilt thou continue in thy service unto him? Yea, beyond doubt, with steadfast honor and unbroken oath shall I serve our Master until the end of days. I am Cadorus, champion of the 51st Legion, and unto thee I say, when the Master is loosed, all thy desires shall be fulfilled. By command of the Red King, a message was sent upon the wings of a great eagle, bearing the tidings of battle's end unto the royal city. And when at last the letter came, Master Patius hastened to deliver it into the hands of the queen. As the queen read, the first lines telling of victory brought a coolness to her heart. Yet, as her eyes passed further down the page, sorrow fell upon her spirit. With trembling hands, she gave the letter to Maina, the wife of Valmor, who gazed upon her with anxious eyes. Maina's tears flowed like a torrent, for her heart was broken into 1,000 shards. The queen reached forth to comfort her, yet Maina's grief was so deep, so searing, that it seemed to set ablaze even the ancient stone walls of the keep. In an inn north of Arteris, Harmont and Nicholas kept their eyes upon the man they had long hunted, the outlaw called Hammer. There they pondered how they might seize him, yet unease weighed upon them, for Hammer was not alone. As Harmont and Nicholas plotted to stir a tumult and draw Hammer alone into the night, fortune at last smiled upon them, for Hammer rose to his feet and cried aloud, "My vessel is as a sea. I must needs empty it." Harmont at last faced Hammer alone and declared, "By the king's shadow host, thou art under arrest. Thy judgment is already past." Hammer seized his great war maul, and with a roar leapt upon Harmont, and the ground shook as they clashed in a battle to the death. Struck upon the chest, Harmont was cast to the ground, as though he had taken the kick of a great horse, and Hammer laughed, saying, "Lie upon the ground, little man, that thy death may come swiftly." Yet Harmont gathered his strength and leapt swiftly upon Hammer, for he was a well-trained master of the sword, and he was faster than his foe. Dodging the swing of the great maul, Harmont drove his sword into Hammer's chest. With a cry of anguish, Hammer fell to the ground. His end had come, and as words of prayer to the gods began to falter upon his lips, swift was Harmont's stroke, and his head was hewn from his body. At that moment, Nicholas was leaning against a tree, but a few paces away, biting into an apple. With a laugh, he said, "Long it took," Harmont said. "Hadst thou lent a hand, it would have ended swiftly." And Nicholas replied, "The two fools within gave me some trouble." And Nicholas said, "Take heart. Thou hast slain a murderer and a robber. Amid the savage waves of the Eden Sea, an elven ship emerged. Storm and wind, and the raging waters battered the vessel, while Idunin, son of Verantis, rose upon the ship's prow like a living statue, a beacon of courage to his crew.